Hello teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga senior high school learners and parents who are watching our live stream of our ETUlay online tutorial. At pa-shoutout din po sa aming public schools district supervisors sa 10 districts ng DepEd Ormoc City Division. District 1, Ma'am Melvin Baldomar. District 2, Ma'am Caroline Magno. District 3, Ma'am Evelyn Tulagan. District 4, Ma'am Emma Porcadilla. District 5, Dr. Jeriza Matiga. District 6, Ma'am Eva Shose. District 7, Ma'am Ethel Salinas. District 8, Ma'am Melissa Bughao. District 9, Sir Oldarico Bohos. And for District 10, Ma'am Marilyn Tagalog. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat, ma'ams and sir. And also, I would like to greet din po ang lahat ng mga research teachers na nanonood sa ating session ngayong hapon. Live na live po tayo sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at DepEd YouTube channels. Alright? At magandang hapon din po sa lahat ng ating online viewers. Hello po and welcome to our tutorial session. We have Jerry Nolasco, Jane Wencita Dora, Jessa Bangati, Jenaline Sebalosa, Rica May Dasigan, Riri from San Fernando District 1, Halapit National High School or Halapita National High School. Julian Dehanyo. We have Charlie Gubalani, Okay, Earl Wendell Pantomino, Chrislyn Riquelmin, Hazel Ann Garciano, Maria Gloria Gallo, Seiji Hermoso, Eliza Linguaje, Lorenzo Aureliano, and a lot more. Okay, so welcome po sa lahat na nanonood ngayong hapon. Ako po si Tutor June at muli, samahan niyo ako class as we learn very important topics for inquiries, investigations, and immersion. And today's exciting session will lead us to understand our topic on Quarter 4, Week 4, which is on qualitative data analysis techniques. Specifically, at the end of this tutorial session, you are going to identify data analysis techniques used in qualitative research and also identify the appropriate qualitative data analysis technique to be used in the given research study. And for the information of everyone, we are basing our tutorial session today with the presentation of Sir Chris Anthony Rabino, a senior high school teacher in the Division of Romblon, Region 4B, Memarupa. All right? To begin, I would like you, class, to perform this preliminary activity entitled My Living Experiences. Suppose you are asked by an interviewer about your lived experiences as a senior high school student in your respective strand. With the following interview questions. Number 1, what made you decide to enroll under the senior high school strand that you are currently taking in now? Or what made you decide to enroll under the STEM strand if you're currently in the STEM strand? Or in the, for example, if you are in the UMS, ABM, GA, TVL track, or Arts and Design track. Okay. Question number 2, what are the most significant experiences you encountered as a student in this strand? And why do you consider these experiences significant? And our last interview question, what are your memorable experiences as a student in this strand? And why do you consider these memorable? Okay, you have 1 minute, class, to write your answers in our live stream's comment section. And also, please do not forget to indicate in your answer the item, right? The item that you are answering. Start typing your answers now. Okay, again, our interview questions. Number 1, what made you decide to enroll under the senior high school strand that you are currently taking in now? Number 2, what are the most significant experiences you encountered as a student in the strand, and why do you consider these experiences significant? And question number 3, what are your memorable experiences as a student in this strand, and why do you consider these memorable? Okay, we have answers from, let me read your answers. Kyla Papiliero answered, I decided to enroll in STEM strand for this serves as a preliminary stage of the course I want to have in college. All right. Thank you for that answer, Kyla. So I think Kyla will be enrolling courses in college related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Judea says, okay, one factor that made me decide to enroll under the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics strand is due to my strong desire in terms of pursuing a course in college that is highly related to science and mathematics. Okay, same with the answer of Kyla. Okay. Julianne answered for number 1, I decided to enroll under the STEM strand in Ormoc City Senior High School because the course that I'm going to take in college is aligned under the STEM strand. All right. Let me check your answers for question number 2. Kyla answered for question number 2. The STEM strand is very difficult, but I enjoy doing the tasks for it helps my ability to enhance my skills, to develop and doing new things, which can serve as another lesson. Okay. All right. We have Judea's answer for question number 2. One of the most significant experiences that I have encountered as a student in STEM strand is during those times when we took our midterm examination in a particular subject and our teacher will always check our seats in order to avoid academic dishonesty. Okay, thank you for sharing, Judea. We have Huge Butch answered for question number or interview question number 2. At the beginning of class, I feel joy and excitement knowing that there would be more people to know and make more fun and memories with them until the end of class in senior high. All right. For question number 3, okay, we have, let me check. Question number 3. All right, we have Renan answered, I think the most memorable experience I have in this strand are my difficulties. I have survived, especially on specialized subjects like calculus and physics. It is memorable for me because it gave me a perspective that goals or success cannot be achieved without undergoing a challenging process and hardships. Tama ka dyan, Renan, no? Okay. Dapat talagang pinagtsatsagaan para tayo maging successful in the future. Okay, let me read Valerie's answer. Okay, we have for question number 3. Okay, my memorable experience as a student in the STEM strand was when we were tasked as a section to create a miniature version of the SPP Church, where we will apply our knowledge in basic calculus and statistics, as well as our skills in delivering the presentation in front of our basic calculus teacher and principal. I consider this as memorable experience throughout my senior high school life because of the challenges we managed to overcome, such as lack of time and materials. All right, so, okay, thank you also for sharing, Valerie. All right, so we also have a lot of answers here in our comment section, but we cannot read all of them. So let me proceed to our analysis question. So based from your answers, let us have these analysis questions. What common themes emerge from your answers in the interview? And what qualitative data analysis technique will you use? And how will you analyze the qualitative data through these data analysis techniques? Okay, so class, take note that in analyzing these questions or to answer these kinds of data, we need to know about data analysis techniques used in qualitative research. Although in qualitative research, we can use data analysis techniques that are also used in analyzing quantitative data, like frequency counts and percentages. But qualitative data analysis techniques class focuses on drawing out patterns and themes from our qualitative data. And as student researchers, it is necessary that we know the meaning and purpose of these qualitative data analysis techniques, which we are going to discuss in our tutorial session today. But before that, allow me first to present to you, class, a sample interview guide, because we need this, or we need to have crafted this interview guide first prior to analyzing our qualitative data. Most especially if you are using an interview method as a data gathering method in your qualitative research. So what is an interview guide? According to Bird 2016, an interview guide is simply a list of the high-level topics that you plan on covering in the interview with the high-level questions that you want to answer under each topic. So the interview guide contains the interview protocol and the interview questions. Take note, class, the interview guide must contain the interview protocol and interview questions. So what is an interview protocol? A researcher's interview protocol is an instrument of inquiry asking questions for specific information related to the aim or purpose, no, of your research study, as well as an instrument for conversation about a particular topic and what will the participants expect, no, from the interview. So that will be indicated in the interview protocol. So we have here a sample interview protocol on an interesting study of the lived experiences of couples in their first heartbreak from a romantic relationship. So let me read the sample interview protocol. You have been chosen to take part in this research study through criterion sampling. Since the study will involve participants who are more than 18 years of age and at the same time experience a heartbreak from a romantic relationship when he or she was between 18 to 25 years old, and at least 2 years had passed after the heartbreak. This study is intended to clearly understand how an individual cope up after his or her first romantic heartbreak. I would like to interview you by asking you about your ideas on the said topic based on your personal experience. But before you decide whether to take part in the study, it is important that you understand what the research is for and what you will be asked to do. Please take time to read the following information and discuss it with others if you wish. If you decide to take part, you will be given this information sheet to keep. You will also be asked to sign a consent form. You can change your mind at any time and withdraw from the study without giving a reason. To continue, interview questions will be given ahead to serve as your guide. Your answers in the open-ended interview will be kept with utmost confidentiality. Anyone who takes part in the research will be identified only by code numbers or pseudonyms. So this is how, class, this is how you will maintain the anonymity of your research participants when conducting an interview through using pseudonyms. To continue, the face-to-face interview will be recorded on an audio device and will then be transcribed onto a computer. The audio device will always be stored in a locked, secure place, and the computer data will be protected from intrusion also. So this is how you will maintain the confidentiality of the data. Okay, and the data privacy of your collected data. The audio file will be deleted at the end of the study. You can request a copy of the interview transcript if you wish. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need further information. Thanking you in anticipation. Yours sincerely. Okay, you put the name of the researcher. All right. So that's our sample interview protocol, and we have here our sample interview questions. Okay, so after writing or crafting your interview protocol, next is you are going to write your interview questions. So take note that in each of your qualitative research questions, you need to prepare at least 3. Okay, again, you need to prepare at least 3 interview questions. So for our first research question, we have, what feelings or emotions are present when a heartbreak from a romantic relationship is experienced for the first time? So here are the sample interview questions to answer the given research question. Number 1, when was your first heartbreak from a romantic relationship? How did the relationship end? Why did the relationship end? How did you feel right at the very moment of your breakup? What feelings or emotions did you feel during the breakup? How did you feel days after the breakup? And how did the breakup affect your day-to-day life? Research question number 2, we have, why do these feelings or emotions exist? So we have our interview questions to answer this research question. Among the emotions you felt, which is very prevailing? Is there any reason why these feelings or emotions exist? And can you explain each cause of these feelings or emotions? How did you overcome such emotions? And did you get help from others? And our last research question number 3, we have recalling these feelings at present. How are the feelings similar or different from the feelings at the time of the heartbreak? So we have our interview questions. Emotionally, how do you feel about the person if you think about him now? What did you miss most about the relationship or the person? If you happen to cross paths again, what would be your first reaction? And what would you feel? Why would you do such action or reaction? Why are you feeling that way? And lastly, are you now ready to enter into another relationship? Why or why not? Okay, so those are our sample interview questions given our research questions. All right. So after crafting your interview protocol and your interview questions, and you have collected already your qualitative responses. So you are now ready to do the qualitative data analysis. So here are the steps in doing qualitative data analysis, or steps in qualitative data analysis techniques by Creswell 2009. So number 1, you are going to organize and prepare the data for analysis. Number 2, read through all the data. So in order to gain, of course, para malaman natin ang general sense of the information and reflect on the overall meaning of the data. And number 3, conduct analysis based on the specific theoretical approach and method. So for example, the narrative analysis, for example, content analysis technique, discourse. So we will discuss this in detail in our later discussion. All right? So when you conduct analysis based on a specific method, this often involves coding or organizing related segments of data into categories. So later, we will also discuss how to code your qualitative responses. Number 4, generate a description of the setting or people and identify themes from the coding. All right? So your goal, no? After you have coded your qualitative responses is to find common themes that emerged from the coded data. And aside from that, you need to search for the connections of these themes, because you need to group, no, these themes into, let's say, main theme. All right? And then number 5, represent the data within the research report. And number 6, interpret the larger meaning of the data. All right? So let us start first with coding. So how to code our qualitative responses. Now, what is coding? Coding is the process of analyzing the data and searching for essential information that answers the research question. So they are considered essential if they occur or mentioned, no, several times by our research participants. Okay, so if na-mention ng research participant, ng different research participants, no, yung particular term na yan, so we can actually include that in our codes. All right? So, in other words, it is a process of filtering the data according to Farber 2006. So, these essential words or phrases are marked or labeled, or what we call coded. They will be coded. So codes are words that represent themes or patterns. So there are 2 types of codes in qualitative research: the emergent and the preset codes. Okay? When we say emergent, okay, let me start first with the preset. Okay? The preset codes, all right, is a list of codes created in advance by the researcher based on the research question, learning outcomes, or conceptual framework. So in other words, when you say preset codes or preset categories, this should have been identified by the researcher prior to the analysis. So meron ka ng mga nakaset na mga codes. Alright? And when we say emergent, okay, emergent codes are ideas, concepts, actions, and meanings that come up from reading and analyzing the data that are not in the preset codes. All right. So when we say emergent codes, these are codes that are being identified by the researcher as the analysis or coding progresses. All right. So that's why it is called as emergent codes. Okay. Now, these are your sample preset codes or categories. All right, we have, for example, if you have these questions, what makes a quality student activities program? Okay, or what makes a quality student activity program, and what are the benefits of a student activities program? How can we improve a student activities program? So we have here our preset codes or categories because, again, these are identified by the researcher prior to the analysis. Okay, we have here the codes F, R, and A. We also have code V for question number 1. Okay, so F stands for facilitators, R for relevance, A for attendance, and V for variety. So we have also codes for question number 2, S, M, and S. Okay, or we can write that the third S as SC. All right, para hindi kayo malito, no, sa S and S. All right, we have S for students, M for mentors, SC for school. Right? Then T for time, RE for resources, F for feedback, and again, M for mentors. All right? Then we have here our sample emergent codes or categories. So from the first question or question number 1, what makes a quality student activities program? So we have here participant 1, different activities. So it is coded as V. Participant 2, more choices, coded as R, V. And participant 3 mentioned better mentors. It is coded as F. Participant 4 mentioned the facilitators will assess me and tell me if I am improving or not. So it is coded again as F. Then participant 5, more students attend and participate in their chosen clubs. It is coded as AS. Okay, so as can be seen from the example, all participants' responses per question are transcribed and arranged accordingly. Okay, so we have here, written before the responses are the codes represented by letters V, R, F, and A. So these letters refer to V for variety, right? So when the participant mentioned different activities, so different activities can be coded as under V, okay, or variety, and then R for relevance, F again for facilitators, right, and A for attendance. So as a researcher, it is your responsibility to generate possible and relevant codes as dictated by your qualitative responses. All right? Now, here are the different qualitative data analysis techniques. So there are a variety of approaches to this process, okay, of analysis and interpretation. Okay, so we will be discussing the most commonly used approaches or techniques, no, to analyze qualitative data. Okay? So we have here the first, okay, qualitative data analysis technique is narrative analysis. All right? So let me read the definition of narrative analysis. It aims to identify the kinds of stories told about the research phenomenon and the kind of stories representing the phenomenon in culture and society. It is a way to describe the structure of stories through the analysis of particular narrative segments. Examples are form and function, what and how. And narrative analysis is concerned with action and examines the activities that are performed when people talk with one another and how these stories make use of a cultural context and accounting practices. Okay? So in here, tinitingnan natin yung patterns of change, no? From the stories, from the narratives that your responses, okay, or your participants answered, no, in their responses. All right? Now, we have here, okay, narrative analysis is concerned with the local context of narrative. For example, why a patient and a doctor shape the remarks to the context or setting or position of a medical setting. And this is anchored in the constructivist thinking that language is not understood as directly mirroring an underlying reality, but rather as a social tool. Okay, so we have here a specific form, a biographic narrative analysis. All right. Now, the second qualitative data analysis technique is discourse analysis. Okay, discourse analysis is concerned with language use beyond the boundaries of a sentence or utterance concerning relationships between language and society. It has a very linguistic outlook, which prevents incorporating linguistic and non-linguistic dimension. From from the phrase that says talk is a social action, therefore we analyze their talk, not the person. Okay, just like in the study of Boy Abunda, no, in his dissertation, parang yung gusto niya is more on the, kasi more on the kwan siya, communication, no? Mass communication. So more on, or development communication. So more on the, yung study niya is more on the discourse analysis, no? Of these, of how people, let's say, respond or communicate. Okay? Now, discourse analysis seeks to expose connections between language, power, inequality, and ideology, and how they manifest. Okay, for example, we have here a discursive power, control over a discourse. For example, a powerful group. Okay, then discourse analysis explore the relationship between discourse and reality in a particular context. And lastly, discourse is socially constitutive as well as socially conditioned. All right? And lastly, we have our the last common, no, data qualitative data analysis technique is the content analysis, which is also called as the thematic analysis. So in content analysis, method to analyze textual information systematically concerned with the latent content and expose meaning, motives, opinions, and purposes embedded within the text. All right? So, okay? So, according to Crisostomo in the Practical Research 1 module, Crisostomo 2016, for discourse analysis, we need to create 1 to 6 themes, while for content analysis, we need to look for at least 7 themes, 7 or more themes. All right? In addition, content analysis establishes categories, inductive and deductive, to examine the material. Okay? And then, categories have to be sufficiently precise to enable different coders to arrive to a similar result with the same body of the material. All right? Any questions from the three qualitative data analysis techniques? So we have again the narrative analysis, discourse analysis, and the content or thematic analysis. All right? Okay, so to check your understanding, let us have this activity. Okay, let's apply. Okay, so now that you have gained a clear understanding on our topic today, let us apply what you have learned by answering the following activity. You are going to write the appropriate qualitative data analysis technique to be used for the following research studies. Again, please write your answers in our live streams comment section. All right? Are you ready? We have question number 1. Lived experiences of teachers using distance learning modalities. What appropriate qualitative data analysis technique that we can use given this research study class? All right? So we have okay, again, please write your answers in our live streams comment section. Okay, pabate from Potrero National High School, Region 3, Division of Pampanga. We have Season Kurt Russell. Okay? We have, okay, Julian, Judea, Stacy, Kyla answered content analysis or thematic analysis. Okay, that is correct. Okay, to analyze the answers or the data, qualitative data taken from the lived experiences or the experiences of teachers using distance learning modality or modalities, we can use content or thematic analysis. All right? How about for number 2? Okay, we have here our research study, cultural roles and conventions of Filipinos in communication. What appropriate data analysis technique that we can use to answer this research study? For number 2, let me check your answers in the comment section. Miggy answered discourse analysis for number 2. How about the others? Stacy, Kyla, all answered discourse analysis, correct? Okay, so we have here the clue, no? In communication. So when we analyze qualitative responses, especially when we want to know the meanings of how people, let's say, communicate, okay? Or for example, from their let's say verbal or from their gestures, from how they, let's say, respond. Okay, so we can actually use discourse analysis. Okay, now let's have number 3. Question number 3. This is a qualitative research technique which aims to identify the kinds of stories told about the research phenomenon and the kind of stories representing the phenomenon in culture and society. A, content analysis. B, is it discourse analysis? C, narrative analysis. Or D, thematic analysis. Please write your write the letter of your answer in our comment section. All right, the answer to this question is letter. We have Julianne answered letter C, narrative analysis, as well as Judea, Stacy, Mary Jorens, Paulo, CJ, Kurt, and many more. So we have, okay, that is correct. So the qualitative research technique which aims to identify the kinds of stories told about the research phenomenon and the kind of stories representing the phenomenon in culture and society is what we call narrative analysis. All right. For question number 4, this is a list of the high-level topics that you plan on covering in the interview, containing high-level questions that you want to answer under each topic. All right? So, is this letter A, interview protocol, B, interview guide, C, research questions, or letter D, interview questions? For number 4, we have answers from Kyla, letter B, interview guide. Andrea, okay, we have Jester, Stacy, Judea, Alan, Julianne, Valerie, Miggy, all answered letter B. You are correct. That is interview guide. Last number or last item, we have number 5. These are ideas, concepts, actions, and meanings that come up from reading and analyzing the data that are not in the preset codes. Letter A, preset codes. B, themes. C, emergent codes. D, categories. Again, for number 5, these are ideas, concepts, actions, and meanings that come up from reading and analyzing the data that are not included in the preset codes. Okay? So we have Julianne, Judea, Mary Jorens, Jester, Kurt, CJ, Stacy, Valerie, Janver, Lorenzo, Miggy, Maria Gloria, and a lot more answered letter C. Let me check. That is correct. Emergent codes. All right? All right. May tanong po ba? Do you have questions, class? Now, for your assignment, since this is 3 I's, you are going to apply the appropriate qualitative data analysis technique that you are going to use given your qualitative research questions that you have formulated or crafted from the previous sessions, following the guidelines presented in this tutorial session. You may post it in your FB timeline and use the hashtag ETUlay III analyzing quali data. Again, the hashtag is hashtag ETUlay III analyzing quali data. At sa mga hindi po makapanood or nakapanood ng ating weekly live tutorial sessions, you may follow me sa aking Wakelet account na nakalagay sa inyong mga screens, or pwede ding i-scan ang QR code na nasa inyong mga screens. Ang ating recorded videos ng ETUlay tutorial sessions in inquiries, investigations, and immersion are compiled in our Wakelet account. At iyan po ang ating online tutorial sa linggong ito. See you po in our next tutorial session. Same time, same day. This has been your ETUlay tutor, Sir June, na nag-iiwan ng katagang, the research of today shall speak the innovations of tomorrow. Thank you and happy researching.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Mga guro at magulang, ating pagtulungan, kabataan ay turuan natin. Kahit na nasa tahanan, pag-aaral ay tutukan, oras at kasanayan ay ilaan. Sulong edukalidad, magbago man ang panahon, ipagpatuloy ating layunin, patatagin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. Kayo ba'y may katanungan at hindi maunawaan? Kami ang gabay at tulay na magtuturo sa'yo. Sa tulong ng teknolohiya at maging ng social media, paaralan ay kusang lalapit sa'yo. Tulong edukalidad, supuin maling impormasyon, katotohanan nating ituro, paunlarin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino.